Since you are working in 3 dimensions when modeling in Fusion 360, you need to be able to do more than just zoom and pan to see all of the design. The third dimension adds the need to orbit. Moreover, it's often necessary to look at geometry that is obstructed by the outer surface of the model. In this lesson, you'll learn how to efficiently manage views in Fusion 360. The view cube in the top right corner of the canvas is the most obvious and intuitive way of viewing the model from different angles. If you've used Autodesk Inventor, then this tool will be familiar to you. You can left-click on the cube and drag it around to orbit freely. I prefer to use it in a more controlled manner though. The default view is the home view and can be reactivated by clicking on the home button. I can look at the top of the model simply by clicking on the top of the view cube. And if I'd like to rotate it, I can use the clockwise and counterclockwise arrows that appear above and to the right of the cube. In addition to the faces of the cube, I can also click on each edge or vertex to get a view that is normal to those. Since there are 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges on a cube, I have 26 options to choose from on the view cube. The second way to navigate between views is using a traditional computer mouse. You can zoom in by scrolling back or towards your body, and you can zoom out by scrolling forward or away from you. These directions can be reversed in the Fusion 360 preferences if you'd like. Holding down the scroll wheel or middle mouse button if you have a 3-button mouse will allow you to pan, and holding down the shift button while pressing on the scroll wheel allows you to orbit around the model. Fusion 360 also works very well with a 3D mouse like the 3D Connection Space Mouse. Panning, zooming, and orbiting can all be done smoothly with the device's puck. Fusion 360 has several analysis tools that can be used to help you get a better look at certain aspects of your model. When I use the word analysis in this context, I'm not referring to finite element analysis or computational flow dynamics. These are tools like curvature and section analysis and are located in the Inspect panel. For example, if you need to see the inside of a model, you can use a section analysis to get a better look. I've created one already and will activate it by clicking on the Show Hide button next to the Analysis folder in the browser. I encourage you to read through the tooltip for each of the other analyses and experiment with them. Lastly, at the bottom of the canvas above the timeline, you'll notice several other view-related tools and menus. I'll skip the orbit, pan, and zoom functions as those are best handled by your mouse. The Look At function allows you to quickly center and look straight at a highlighted selection. For example, I could get a better look at the top face of this model by selecting the face and then clicking Look At. The Zoom Window function can be handy. It allows you to box select an area and then fits that selection to the canvas. The smaller the box, the more Fusion 360 will zoom in. You can get the whole model to fit in the screen by selecting Fit from this menu or hitting F6. That's a hotkey you'll want to memorize. The 2 most commonly modified settings in the Display Settings menu are Visual Style and Environment. Shaded is the most realistic visual style. But shaded with visible edges is the default and what I find to be the most versatile. In certain situations, you may need to toggle to some of the other visual styles to select a certain edge or vertex. You can easily cycle through them by holding down the Control key and then hitting 4 through 9. The environment setting allows you to change the color of the canvas in Fusion 360. I'll keep mine set to the default of Photo Booth. By default, Fusion 360 has the layout grid enabled. I find it distracting outside of the sketching environment, so I'll disable it in this menu. You can also use this menu to modify some of the grid settings. The final option down here is for enabling multiple viewports. The hotkey for this command is Shift plus exclamation point. Enabling multiple viewports gives you 4 views that can be controlled independently of each other. I can get back to a single viewport by hitting Shift exclamation point again, and the highlighted viewport is maximized.